What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about a secret neighborhood that a lot of people, even that live in Boston, don't really know about, that I think is absolutely beautiful, and especially if you're looking for a luxury condo, is absolutely the spot to go to. It's tucked right in between South Boston and Seaport, so I'm going to talk about the neighborhood and the types of condos you can see. Hint, a lot of them are brick and beam style lofts, so if that's something that captures your attention, make sure to check out the rest of the video. So with that, let's get at it. What's going on, guys? My name is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, before we get into it, two super quick things. Number one, guys, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. I'm putting out tons of new videos every single week highlighting different parts of Boston, what it's like to live here, lifestyle, and so much more. So make sure you subscribe. And number two, guys, if you are thinking about doing anything with real estate around the greater Boston area, whether it's Boston or you're going 30 minutes outside of Boston or even an hour outside of Boston, right? Me and my team here are real estate agents and we absolutely are blown away. Every time we get a call from someone watching our videos, we absolutely love working with you guys. So if you're thinking about making any sort of move around the Boston area, make sure to hit us up and we will definitely help you out. So with that, let's jump right into the video. And as I said, I'm gonna be talking about kind of a neighborhood that is really a little bit off the radar, right? It is located very centrally in Boston. It's right in between South Boston and Seaport. But even a lot of people that live in Boston, and especially that obviously don't live in Boston, have not really heard about this neighborhood. It is called Fort Point, right? It is technically part of the Seaport district, but it is its own little neighborhood here. And for those of you guys that are looking to buy your first or potentially next luxury condo, I think this is an amazing area to buy in, not only from a lifestyle perspective, not only from the types of condos you'll see there, but that area is actually changing really rapidly. And I'm gonna talk about all of those aspects in this video. So first, in terms of the feel of the neighborhood, right? As you go from South Boston into Fort Point and then into Seaport, the landscape kind of shifts a little bit, right? Seaport, if you guys have visited there or been there, you know it's a very glassy area, if I will, right? It's got a lot of high rises, a lot of glass structures, kind of resembles, you know, other metropolitans like New York, Chicago, etc. But Fort Point is actually completely different. If you drive through Fort Point, what you'll see is large, kind of boxy brick building, almost like industrial style buildings. And the reason you'll see that there is a quick history lesson. Back in the early 20th century, the Boston Wharf Company actually built many of these big boxy brick buildings, and a lot of these were actually industrial buildings way back in the day. Now, since then, they've obviously been converted, and a lot of them have been converted into residential use, of course, some also commercial use. And the neighborhood now is actually a historic landmark district, so it's gonna continue to be preserved and kind of keep that original character of that neighborhood. So as you go through it today, that's kind of the vibe you'll get. You'll kind of get this old industrial vibe. The area is actually now also a huge artist community, one of the largest actually in New England. Tons of artists live there. So it's a very cool neighborhood with a very different vibe than what you might get from your neighborhood next door, which is the Seaport. Again, kind of resembling more of a metropolitan New York City kind of lifestyle and look. Now, if you visit some of the residential homes that have been converted in these, old brick buildings, the coolest part about this is they've been repurposed, and now a lot of these buildings are old brick and beam style lofts, right? And these apartments and condos are absolutely stunning. If you walk through them, you'll have usually very tall ceilings, right? You have amazing ceiling height. You're gonna have a lot of those old exposed beams, again, retained from the old buildings. Of course, you're gonna have a lot of exposed brick, right? Because these are brick buildings. You're gonna have large industrial style windows that provide a ton of light. So it's just an amazingly different type of condo that you won't really find in many other places. I've seen a couple of these kinds of condos in the South End. You'll see them. There's some in Charlestown. They actually have a couple in areas like Chelsea as well, but they're really concentrated in Fort Point, right? Because a lot of these condo buildings are, these are big buildings. So these are huge condo buildings, all with this kind of old, brick and beam loft style feel, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna highlight a couple of the buildings that I've toured or I know of, that I think are worth mentioning. So one new actually brand new condo conversion that's going on is the Necco Landing building on Melcher Street, right in the heart of Fort Point. I've toured a bunch of condos there. They are absolutely stunning. A developer just basically condoed out that entire building. They came out really, really stunning, right? Again, like a very open floor plans, stunning kitchens, very lofty style, very open feel to them. I think it's an amazing, amazing building. Melcher Street is a beautiful street, it's right in Fort Point. It curves and it's like 2 seconds away from Seaport. So that's an amazing building. There's loft style buildings on Wormwood Street that I visited. Also absolutely beautiful lofts, exposed beams, brick, kind of very open feel. So a lot of these condos tend to be much boxier too. So they're kind of very like squarish layouts, which I personally like instead of maybe more choppier layouts that you get in other areas in Boston. So the units on Wormwood, absolutely amazing as well. Now, I will also mention that Fort Point does not only exclusively have brick and beam lofts. I mean, a lot of the units are lofts, but some of them are more modern lofts. So I visited, for example, there's a couple, there's buildings like on Channel Center I recently visited that has very modern looking lofts. So no exposed brick or like beams, very contemporary lofts. But they still nonetheless are very lofty. They have incredible ceiling height. Actually, the units at Channel Center, what's cool, a lot of them actually have like double the height of your ceiling, right? Because you have duplexes with your bedrooms on the second floor, but no actual floor on the second. So it's kind of like a double heighted unit, and it feels absolutely incredible. Other buildings too that I'm gonna mention, you have other buildings like the FB3 condos, again, also less brick and beam style, but more kind of contemporary lofts. So that's kind of the product type you're gonna find in this neighborhood. If you are a sucker for brick and beam, like myself, I'm a huge sucker for it. You're gonna find it there. If you're looking for more contemporary lofts, you still can find that as well. Now, one of the reasons why I'm very, very high on this neighborhood as well is Fort Point is actually going through quite a bit of change. There is some development going on, but probably one of the coolest aspects of Fort Point that's ongoing as we speak is actually an approximately 90-acre park development within the neighborhood, right? So as I said earlier, if you walk through it right now, again, it's still, the neighborhood kind of has that old industrial feel, but what I love that the city is doing is adding a ton of green space. So in this 90-acre project, basically, and I'm looking at exactly I'll tell you guys exactly what's coming on here. They're taking essentially occupied parking lots, some older commercial buildings, leveling them and creating, just open space. There's gonna be a couple of big parks, a number of smaller pocket parks. You're gonna have a nice promenade, an amphitheater, and just a lot of outdoor recreational amenities, right? So I think it's gonna give a ton of life to the neighborhood. It's gonna, I think it'll still retain its old charm while still just having a lot more green space outside. So, I think the neighborhood is gonna continue to change. So from an investment perspective, I think that area is gonna continue to be more and more desirable as time goes on. So hopefully that makes sense. If you guys haven't checked this neighborhood out, Google it, check it out. It's one of my top neighborhoods for me to move into on my next home, right? Basically number one on my list right now. It's just absolutely stunning. Of course, you're next to all the amenities of the Seaport and South Boston, as I mentioned, since you're literally 2 minutes from both. It's just an amazing, amazing neighborhood that I think you should definitely keep your eye out. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, just put them in the comments below, and I will definitely help you out.